Hello, guys, and welcome back. I do apologise. So, on the last show, before I had to take it down, I'd explained that I was going to be here talking to my guest Eli about his near death experience and about some information on how it's affected him since him going through this experience and what sort of things he's noticed change around him since going through this near death experience due to the virus. So I'm just going to bring him back up, guys, and I do apologize again.
Hello, how's it going?
Hello.
Yeah, okay. We'll try this again, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So, obviously, as you know, guys, for anyone that knows Eli, he went through a near death experience where he had to go to hospital because of the virus. Okay. Now, through with that happening, he had to go over to the other side and he had some very weird and strange experiences. Okay. And I'm here to try and just help him to try and understand it a little bit more. We try and figure out if we can see what's going on. So I'm just going to go over to Eli again and ask
Okay.
Eli to give a brief description on what happened to him and how he ended up
Okay.
on the other side.
Okay. It was 2 years ago. It was a week. Well, me and my fiance were gonna go out on her birthday. We're gonna go, a couple days, less fun, whatever. So then I went home that week. You know, I was trying to, it was a week before, we were gonna go out and everything. And I remember I started getting sick. Everybody got sick at the house first. Then it was my daughter. Then it was me. So then I guess they gave it to me at the house. So then I was coughing, sneezing, started getting the fever. I calmed the fever down. It was hard to do it. My sister gave me some of her medicine, and it was still just fever after fever. So then maybe like the third day, you know, um, I was being stubborn, not even my fiance, hey, go to the hospital. No, I'm okay. My pains were really different on my leg. Normally it's a pain where I can stretch it out and I'm okay. So, um, my sister comes in, she goes, hey, I'm making some dinner or whatever. So, they're like, hey, your lips are blue. And I'm just like, I'm okay, whatever. I went to the mirror. I was like, oh, man, they are blue. They're turning, I couldn't even breathe even to walk like one or two steps, I'm just like, you know. So then my sister calls the ambulance, and I lay back down. She goes, "No, you got to get up." I forced myself getting up. I was so hurting. My thigh, my leg was hurting. I mean, oh my god, it was painful. I couldn't talk. I was breathing. I was coughing. Man, it was terrible. So then I got up. I got I got on my walker, and at that time I wasn't using my canes at the time. Um, so then I left that there, and luckily I had a wardrobe my mom had in the hallway by the bathroom. So then I was kind of like holding on to it and getting near the front door. My sister got me a chair. The ambulance was talking to me, and they were telling me they're like, "Well, what's your birthday and everything else? The ambulance is on its way." So then they took me to the hospital. I was in the ambulance. Um, all I remember is them trying to help me breathe, and all of a sudden, boom! I'm in this dark void. Just it felt like whirlwind. It was like,
Yeah.
and I see all these people. Hey, everybody! Just letting you know, hi. Don't want to be
Hello,
rude.
guys.
So then I'm going through this whirlwind fast, the speeding light. It's like, but during that you see people, help me, God, I'm sorry, forgive me for my sins, I didn't know. And you see kids that were there because they murdered their parents, or you see other people there that they did wrong, and you could see it was just a quick boom, 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 you know what I mean? It was quick. And to you, you're like, whoa, like, you're a viewer. I call it a viewer. To me,
Yeah.
you're a viewer, and you're going down a void, and you hit the floor, bah, right there on the floor. And to me, it was painful. My whole body vibrated, and I was just like this whole time. I see my body. I was like, oh hell no! It was like, to me right now, it's mom saying that right now. I mean, it was so freaky, It was scary. And I remember just going like this, and you hear all these voices in your head going, they don't like you, your family's gone, this and that and this. But mind you, when you die, you don't think whatever you leave behind, you leave behind. Yeah, you see your family, everything, you feel them, you feel their sorrow, their pain, their love for you. But at that time, you can't talk to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like only if you have that closeness with them, you can. You know, I remember like seeing my fiance cry and my whole family being mean to her, and saying, "No, it's your fault, and you should have came, you should have did this and this and that." And they were just even the doctors were calling my fiance, "You're sorry, this and that," and just cursing at her for no reason, and hey, Marpy, like what's going on?
Hello, everyone.
In the Facebook user.
Hello,
So
Nigel.
then I was sitting there and I remember like there's a nurse's station right there. Like they had the door open, but it's different. I should have a video about it. I remember it like that, but then I look at it now and I'm like, whoa. So then I remember seeing my little walker there that did walk with. I don't got it no more. Like I said, I walk with two canes now. And one around the house. But anyways, so I remember seeing the window, big giant window they had. I remember it was like two double doors window, and I remember seeing a cross. Right in the cross was a window. We could see out the window. Wasn't worried about that yet because there was nothing there. Um, there was somewhere we could sit at, and in front of me there was a big old white little board that had my name on it and everything else, my weight, my height, and I remember seeing a metal cabinet and it had all my stuff in there. There was one thing in particular I wanted was that phone. Because my fiance remember that she was constantly calling it. That's what brought me back to reality, to this earth. And I remember looking back at my body like this. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, but to you, when you're gone aside, you can't turn your head. It's like you see from your eyes. You see all around you is you, if you know what I mean. You're you're
Yes.
you're all one because when you die in your spiritual form, and all around you is you. You don't have a body where you're like, oh wait, let me turn around like this. I mean, you feel no pain, you know, but with all the smells, with all the people's fears and all this other, it comes to you. It's like you stabbing yourself with a pin in your finger. Your whole body vibrates to that in pain, twice as 10, maybe 20. Just like when I
Like
hit the floor. Ow. Go ahead.
like I'd said to you on like the previous show, like I'd said to you, I believe that you was in purgatory. Okay.
Go
Now,
ahead.
for anybody, like there is a lot of people that don't believe in purgatory, but in my opinion, there is. Okay, because when you're here in this world, okay, and you do wrong, not everybody that does wrong learns while they're here. So there's got to be somewhere else that you go to where you've got to see where you've done your wrong to put everything right. Okay, so
Yeah.
that is what purgatory is. It's about going back on your mistakes, going back on your past life, seeing how you've progressed along the way. I believe that everybody goes through purgatory first before going. Obviously, like kids that are innocent and that no, but adult people, people that have lived and had a life, we all go through purgatory, and we all have different experiences there, depending on what life has been
Well,
like. Not like it's not
can
always
can
negative.
I tell you some stuff real quick? But let's say what I experienced, what I seen, and what I heard is like, it's like you're right about that. You're right about that, but
Yeah,
it's only for people that God knows that you're gonna come back. If God knows, if you're like I'm saying, I know you have a religion. Don't get me wrong. Um,
yeah,
like if God, like my God, it's like how I was taught is, see, I wasn't taught about purgatory. I was born heaven and hell. That's it. But
yeah.
what I felt and I was told as through a feeling is that God's not. If God knows you're going to be that same evil person, He's going to send you somewhere else. He's not going to let someone else come back to this earth knowing that they're going to do wrong. That's how I felt. through other people there. You know, other people that come back, you know what I mean? They come back for a reason to tell their story. To It's like you came back. You came back for a reason, this earth. So
Yeah, it's just
you
that
can
I obviously like you've got a different religion to what I've got, and obviously with my experiences and seeing spirit, I've seen that a lot of the spirit go to purgatory, and
oh yeah.
purgatory is not always a negative thing.
No,
Okay,
no, no,
it's a
no.
reflect on life. It's a reflect on what you've done. If you've done
I
bad,
agree.
it's going to show you the bad. Okay, and it's going to
Yeah.
show you your past
See,
life. Anybody that's been in this world is going to go into purgatory,
yeah.
no
See,
matter how many lives you've got. The
see,
only
Sherry,
difference is God will reach out and
yeah,
take those that haven't done wrong.
I
And
agree.
obviously, the ones that are really bad and done really bad things, they
Mhm.
don't need to stay in purgatory either. They'll go to hell.
No,
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
but
But the people that are
it's,
lost, confused, don't really know what
yeah,
happened,
lost
they
souls.
stay in purgatory to learn.
Well, the lost souls, they stay in that void. You know,
Yeah,
it's like imagine this. Like a lot of people, they're like, "Oh my God, if you die, you're gonna end up being a ghost and you're gonna haunt people." It's not like that. When you die, I mean, for everybody, their death is different. No offense, you know. I mean,
yeah,
Sherry, your death is different, right?
yeah,
But when you die, you forget about all this. You don't think, "Oh my God, I'm gonna go on YouTube and I'm gonna tell my story and I'm gonna go on Oprah and tell her all this." No, when you're on the side, you're a viewer. If you're going to purgatory, you're a viewer. You know, you view everything that's going on. You don't sit there and think about what you can record or what you can see, or you can go back to for family and friends. You're seeing what's really going on, what you're
yeah,
seeing, what you're sensing, what you're smelling, everything all around you means something to you. Means something to you that you could bring back. But not you're not thinking that at that time. You're thinking, "Oh my God, I want to get out of here." You can feel the lonely, despair, the fear.
yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of it was really pleasant. Some of it was just like, whoa, it's like a weight being thrown at you. Man, it's just like that story I told you about. I call it Eminem and the M&Ms. There was Eminem on the counter. You could see like the person's like stove and everything upstairs, TV and everything, playground in the background and everything else. And a lady came in. She goes, "Where's my child? It's your fault. It's your fault. You died. That's why she's gone." And I could feel the intense pain and sorrow in her. And
yeah,
a garage opened up, and she turned me around, and there was this playground, and we were going outside. But she blamed me for that. Why am I being blamed for that? Hello, like I just came into your reality, Miss whoever. I mean, and then I was on the news. They were talking about the news saying that I died, and that's the reason why it's my fault. And I'm like, wait a minute, why am I being blamed? I mean, I died because it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my choice. You know, I mean,
yeah,
like it was weird. I mean, right there, I called M and M's because, like I said, there was an M&M thing full of M&Ms. And to me, it was innocence, but it was like guilt. You had to feel. It felt like you were being. People wanted me to feel guilty about something always. But mind you, Sherry, in my life, I was always needed to feel guilty. My mom always made me feel guilty. My family always made me
yeah.
feel guilty with things.
And in that place, it's going to carry that on, okay? Because they obviously, over in the spiritual realm or wherever you are, okay, they're very aware of who you are. They know the things that have affected you, how you would be
Yep.
affected when you lived. So they would use all of those to get to you because they're the point is when you went to this purgatory and you was seeing these things, it was
Mhm.
teaching you and learning you about your insecurities, about how you need to go through life, how you need to change.
Mhm.
So you was having a lot of experiences, and like you said, like you was noticing that you was going from room to room to room, and there was different scenarios going on, and in
Yes.
some of them
Yes.
it was where you was dying. This is
Yeah.
what I believe, that these were your past lives as well, and they're trying to show
Yeah.
you where you was then to where you
Yes.
are now, and what you may need to change when you go back, which you did
Yes.
come back. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Like for
Yeah.
me, my experience there was completely different because I didn't see anything negative. It was all different. There wasn't anything negative from what I see, and all I just remember is just being there and not understanding why I was here. And I could see
Yeah.
certain people that I loved and that,
Yeah.
and I'm like, but hang on a minute, like that they're not living anymore, so why am I seeing them? And that's when I realized. But then I obviously came back, but I didn't have any negative experience. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It was completely different, and everybody's
Wow.
experience is different. Not everybody's going to go through what Eli went through. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it really does depend on your life and the
It,
things you've done or the things you've
yes.
experienced. All of these sort of things will play on where you go. Okay, so when you was like in the realms, you were saying that you'd noticed that there were obviously people that had passed that you were seeing, and you were seeing their life stories out in front of you and things like that. But you was also saying that you'd noticed that there was actually energies there that was still living, like your nurse,
Yes.
for instance. She was there and looked after you when you came
Yes.
back.
Yes.
So,
Every one of them was
as
there.
I said before, do you think that that energy carried in there with you to make it so that you came back? Because what I think happened with you is they knew you weren't going to stay there.
Mhm.
They were giving you a lesson. Okay,
Yes.
they knew you weren't going to stay
Yes.
there, so that's why you had that mobile phone with your wife ringing,
Yeah.
your fiance ringing, sorry, and you had
Yeah.
the nurse, because you were coming back.
It's weird. It's weird, sure, you say that because, I mean, the reason why I brought up the other chat, the other live, that I went to hospital. Okay, it was freaky because um there was just young nurse, right? She was taking me to get my X-ray done and everything, and when I seen her, she goes, "Hey," she goes, "I'm glad you made it." And I'm like, "What?" And I looked at her. It's that feeling of, like I seen her before. I just didn't want to act like I was like crazy. And
Yeah.
I seen her there. That lady that,
Was she nice to you there?
yeah, she recognized me on the ventilator. And when I got
Yeah,
out of
no,
there,
like when you was in purgatory, because you said you see her while you was there as well.
yeah,
Was she
yeah,
completely different
she was
there
really
to what
nice.
she
Yeah,
was with you now?
it was funny because that same lady was there was one whenever I don't know if you heard that one where I was having coffee with the lady outside, and when I looked back, there was a lot of people in the window when in the hospital that died. That was that lady I was talking to, that she wanted me to have a coffee with her. And I mean, that's awesome right there. Like that's right there. When I seen her invite, oh, just it gave me the chills. I'm just like, wow, like,
Well, it would, because you know that you was in the hospital. You see that woman die while you was in
yeah,
hospital, and then suddenly
yeah,
you're there with her in another place.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's why you couldn't eat or drink, because you were going to be coming back. Because obviously, when you go into spirit form and you officially die and you don't come back, you can move
yeah,
and turn and do
yeah,
things. I've seen it.
yeah,
I
yeah,
speak and see spirit all the time. They can
yeah,
turn their heads,
yeah.
but you weren't in that place where you were
No,
going to be staying there. You
yeah,
would just fit, like you said, you was a viewer. You were
yes,
seeing things. You
yeah.
know what I mean? So, what's tell me, like, what sort of things you experienced other people going through? Like, how how's it woke you up when you was there? Like, because obviously you woke up when you was there, because you were seeing these energies, you were seeing things
Well,
that happened
I
to
when
them.
you when I kind of laugh because just like some things where they died in a funny way, or somebody, probably in a horror way, but you can see it's like a movie. You can play it out. They were stuck in a little cube, their own cube. They can't see you. They can't talk to you. It's like a little cube. Remember, I died twice. They brought me back. I was on a ventilator, for double pneumonia.
Yeah, you was very lucky
And
to be here, because most people wouldn't survive that.
yeah, um, I remember that because one was from the 1800s. I was saying something about, I went into this. It turned into a dirt void. It was all dirt. It went all the way down, and there was these three people that dug a hole, and they were building a dam, a small dam. I guess for to me it felt like it was for a train to go on there, and they were putting dirt in sacks. You could smell, you could smell that nasty dirt, from the ground, And then they look back at me and they're like, "You're not supposed to be here." They're like, "I'll tell you what, we'll give you money so you can go back up there." I mean, there it takes you to their time of why they died and why they're there. Greed. Like
So do you? So these three gentlemen that you see, like digging all the mud up and stuff, do you believe
it
that
was
that's how they
a
died? Then they
it was a
died
little
doing that.
kid. It was a little kid, a wife, and a husband.
So do you believe that that they died doing that? Like they
Yeah.
probably caught something or whatever. If it was in the olden days.
Well. To me, the bridge collapsed because back then they didn't have the right technology. Some did, some didn't have the right
Yeah. No.
technology
Yeah.
to build it right. Because
Yeah.
now these days they got all that good stuff, and you have to be sort of like, I guess, a genius to do. I mean, I couldn't
It was
build
very
one.
hands-on in the olden
Yeah,
days.
yeah,
Everything was hand done, wasn't it?
yes. It's
Yeah.
just like me seeing the Nazis, and they were on the little old computers, and I actually researched that, and the bunkers were so messy. It feels like like to me, it felt like it was dirty windows, and there was this lady on a little school with a little kid, and it was like maybe 4 or 5 Nazis with black hats and everything. I've seen it. It was weird. And there was like little lights on the little machineries, and they're like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be here." You know what I mean? She was really nice, but she was like, "You're not supposed to be here." And then I went to one place to another. I
So
mean,
when you were having these experiences and you were seeing these people, these different things, like obviously, yeah, they were reliving what they went through at that time. But do you think that maybe there as well, it was showing you sequels from things that have actually happened in this world? Because
well,
the
see, I
Nazis,
think
for instance, there was a war, there were battles with the Nazis, there were,
there,
there
there
was
was
raids and
but sometimes half of me thinks like that was my past life, but I wasn't. I was not so sure about that one, really. I
yeah, no,
really
not
didn't
like
know
I'm
about.
not saying it wasn't your past life. What I'm saying is like, do you think that when you was there, that maybe sometimes they were showing you things that physically happened here,
Yes, I agree.
like from the past?
I agree on that. I agree.
Which is might be why a number of those people are stuck in this place.
But why? But I mean, why see?
When you think about it, the Nazis, they were very evil people at that time. Yeah, they killed
Yes.
many, many innocent people.
Yeah.
They've done very nasty things. They would be in that purgatory, and
Yep.
some of them might have forgiven themselves and realised they've done wrong. They've probably gone over, but some of them will still be stuck on that time where no, what I did was right and I acted right. They don't want to change.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I think that even though you was having like your past life experiences, you was having experiences from other people that died, I do believe that you was having experiences of what's actually physically happened in this world as well, like the
Yeah.
wars and
Yeah.
the time of the dark, like where you
Yes.
had like all of the smallpox and the black fever and
Yeah.
all these horrible things that used to go on.
Yeah.
Do
I
you
agree
think
on
that
that.
maybe they were showing you a bit of
Yeah.
everything?
I agree on that one. Like I've been thinking about that one lately, and I've been thinking about like, why did I see that? Why did I experience it? Like, and I don't know about that, but I think you're right. Half of me feels
Because
like, because you know
like
how.
it's just strange because like when I listen to you and when you're talking to me about it and stuff,
Hmm,
and like the more you talk about it, you seem to remember little bit other bits as you
yeah,
go on, like
yeah,
that we've not heard in another one. So it's like you're waking up as you're talking about it
yes,
more.
I am. I
So
am.
I'm trying to establish that because
Yeah,
obviously I remember you mentioning something about you seeing Nazis before, but I
yeah,
don't remember hearing you saying about seeing the three people with the digging the pit
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So you're remembering different things.
I am. I am.
I do believe like you came back because you are meant to educate people. You're meant to learn people about when they die, like the
Yeah,
different things that could happen.
yeah,
That's why you have these interviews. That's why you talk to spiritual people because
yeah,
you're supposed to, because you're supposed to understand each side of that world. You're supposed to understand hell. You're supposed to understand purgatory. You've gone to that yourself, and you're
hmm,
supposed to understand heaven. Okay, that's why you have so many people
yeah,
you talk to. But when like you said that like you had like loads of like really negative things that happened and like, what sort of things happened to you that made you like really want to like get away from there? What sort of things did you experience?
Um, there was one like I was having brain surgery on me, and they figured out. Wait a minute. Well, there was two nurses in front of me. I'll tell you that one. There's two nurses in front of me. I was looking up to as well. I was looking there, but I was looking up. You know, I seen all these knickknacks. You know what I mean, over in the sky and everything. Um, and I seen two females. They're like, "Oh, we found the reason why you're sick. You know, when you got in that car accident, you hit your head and whatever." And they showed me the big old screen. You know, they're like, "Well, we're gonna do this to you," but they didn't actually do it. You know, it turned to um, me looking around the room and seeing like a TV and a sofa sitting there and a lady cleaning and then it felt like I went to a courthouse to be judged. To me, it felt like it, but I wasn't. I was judged, but I wasn't. Um, there was this bad spirit telling me, "Go shoot that man, and you can go home," and I did it. But that was not in real life, but you know.
Yeah,
So
in that place you did
yeah,
it.
yeah. But they're really, they're really, those spirits are really conniving things, you know? You do it, and then the cops are like, "We got you, buddy. We're almost there." And they bust down the doors and they're just laughing at you. And then they throw you in, and they throw me in a trash bin, you know? And in this trash bin, I I can't get out. I'm stuck with all this trash. But remember, like with with the virus, they they tie you down because they don't want you taking off your ventilator, you know, and and so yeah, so I remember asking for help. People were just eating and laughing. I remember seeing people eating and laughing at me. I mean, like, and people opening the door and I could see outside, but it was dark. And I remember just it was just man, it was just like you were just a piece of trash, you know, like it's like going back when I told you about the hospital bed. Everything there was broken down. Nothing worked. Nothing. I mean, you think about something pleasure, it turns into horror. You know, if you're thirsty, there's no water there. Nothing. There's no pleasure. There's no. If you think about your fiance, it's always they attack whatever you love. You know, there's nothing happy there. To me, probably God was showing me that, like, do you really want to be stuck there? I mean, I think I remember hearing the ventilators. To be honest, like when I went to hospital the other day, I remember hearing the ventilators, and to me that was a familiar thing to me. It didn't scare me, but I thought, do I really want to go back there? It's weird just thinking about it. Really, like,
It is. It is an interesting. It is a very interesting experience and stuff. And like, obviously, like you've been through a lot of trauma going there by the sounds of it. And I do like I said to you, I do believe that you're, in some of your experiences you was having your past life experiences. What you got to remember is our soul energy is very, very old. Okay, we've been
it is.
many lives, and when you go back there, that soul energy is going to be very familiar to a lot of those energies if you've known them in the past. Like you said previously, that you'd gone to that place and there was people coming up to you and talking to you like they knew you, like they'd seen you before, but you'd never seen them people in your at
Oh
all,
yeah.
ever.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, and I said to you, I remember saying it to you, I was like, well, you got to think, if you've had past lives, some of these people that are coming to you are probably recognizing your soul energy.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
recognizing the energy of you.
it's
See what I mean?
crazy because yeah, I know what you mean. I was on a ventilator, and I remember them, like, cleaning me up and everything, and they're all talking about their husbands. Hey, they didn't bring me any food. That little, you know what I mean? And so, and I remember the doors were chained up because they said somehow, they had to wrestle a guy. But I seen them wrestle the guy. I seen the chains when they did that, and then like when I survived, you know. I told the lady when I had that little thing where I could talk, because I had the trait in me, and I remember seeing that lady when I got up. I said, "Hey, where's my Waterburger at?" You know what I mean? It's a Whataburger is a restaurant over here.
Yeah, no, I've had it. I had it when I was in
Okay.
Texas.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
it's lovely.
the reason why I said it, she was complaining about her husband not bringing her food that night. And she goes, "How did you know that?" And then I told him, I was like, because they would say, "Hey, I know you can't see us, but you're part of the family. We could we can complain about our husbands and girlfriends all we want to you." And I remember each one of them. I remember what they were talking about. They're like, "Oh my God, you heard us?" I'm like, yeah. It was
And
weird.
I think that, like when you were saying that you weren't able to eat, you weren't able to do these sort of things. I think a lot of that is to do with the fact that your physical body had all of that tubing in it, and they were still fighting to keep you alive. So you were still in between both worlds. So
yeah, because they had
because that would have stopped you from eating anyway. So it was kind of playing that out in the purgatory that you couldn't eat, sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest, like it's kind of what really freaks me out is like seeing the ventilator on me and then seeing like the trade where they're talking about putting the trade in. Like I remember I don't know if you heard that one where I was outside and they're arguing with my mom and my sister, my brother were arguing with the doctor saying that they need to put that trade in me to survive, but in reality they couldn't because at first they thought that I was gonna die if they put it in right away, because in reality, they were gonna transfer me to Austin, Texas, but they couldn't because I would die. So they finally put the trade in me. They put a tube in me. I didn't know that. Maybe that was all the liquid that I was feeling, going through my body. Um, but I remember them arguing with them and saying that you need to put that tube in them, but then they didn't want to. But they got me stabilized, so they did. I mean, how did I know that I had a trait in me? How did I know I was on the ventilator? I was seeing my body just dying there, and I think that to me, I think God took away my fear. Even when I came back, like my son could come around the corner and scared me, and I'm just like, it's nothing. Normally, I would be like, oh my God, that feeling of fear, being
Yeah, but
scared.
it changes you.
It
When you
changes you.
don't like, because if you think about it, you've gone through life and you've never had that near death experience. So you've never known what it feels like until you had that experience. So now when you come back, you're like, well, I know what death feels like and I know what to expect and what it's kind of like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that does make you more open to it and not fearing it anymore because you've experienced it, even though it wasn't in a nice way. You know what it's like to go over. And hopefully, when you do officially go, it's not going to be another one of those experiences again. You know what I mean? It's going to be something better.
Yeah. It's weird. Like, I mean, even coming back to your body's weird. I remember I heard right now, I was talking to my fiance, they said I was at 5% alive instead of 15. I remember coming back and like, when I came back, it was just like a boom like that. It was just like a, whoa.
Like you fell back into your body.
Yeah.
And
like, it was weird. I mean, the experiences were weird. Like, it felt like you were there. Like, you felt every rock you sat at. You felt everything. Like, I didn't feel me walking, but I was just gliding. It's like a magnet. It's taking you wherever you don't want to go. Like it shows you a vision of something, and it's like, do I really want to be here right now?
Yeah, but when you was over there, you don't really have control of what happens to you. Okay, like if they've got things that you need to see, you're going to go to that place, no matter how much you fight, kick, and scream at them. They're not going to listen to what you're doing.
Imagine this. You never know. Like it's like you're in a room, right? And you leave that room. You're being pushed out, right? And like you don't know what's going to come at you. It could be a big old elephant coming at your head. You don't know what's going to come at you. I mean, it messes with your mind. It really does, because you're like, what's going to happen next? It's that fear of what's going to happen next. What's going to happen next? Oh my God! It's having you at edge. It's having you on your seat, thinking, "Oh my God."
Do you think that you had, like, for you to get out of the
right?
purgatory and to get back to your physical body, do you think you had to experience these things and go through these different rooms and
It's kind of crazy how you say that, because I was doing a live before I got sick. I was interviewing some. Who was I interviewing? Interviewed someone, and I told this paranormal investigator. I said, I want to know how it feels to actually be on the other side, and I didn't know that I was gonna experience that. Like I'll tell you something else too. Um, when I came back, I got diagnosed with diabetes. Right. I remember I went to the hospital again. Right, and I was laying there in bed, and something told me to get up. I remember the the walls were like water, and they were telling me, "Get up, you got to go." You hear that in your head, telepathic. I mean, like
you
it.
you felt like you was in water?
Yeah, it was like, and we are in war. Like I mean, with spirituality, we are in war. Like it's a war of taking positive souls and change them to negative souls. I could have came back
Oh yeah,
negative.
there's most definitely a spiritual battle. There is
Yeah,
between good and bad. Definitely,
yeah,
I can verify that definitely, and I'm sure a lot
yeah,
of other people can as well.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, it's. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, it's good. No, carry on.
Okay, it's sort of like oh, man, it's when you're there. There's no time and space. You're just there. You belong there. You deserve it. You deserve it. And when I was there, I I remember I was man. What the weird scary thing was is I remember I was in a locker full of dead bodies instead of meat, and I remember I was being pushed towards the front, and there's this evil thing with sharp razor teeth and with knives going like this, and it was like, "Do you remember?" And I'm like, "Whoa!" I just have those nightmares, and I'm just like, "Whoa, shit." Uh, I was like, "Get away from me!" You know what I mean? Like it's weird. You know, it's something like you remember each detail each day. You remember it. It's like um wow, it's like the Indian like guy. Like I mean, it's okay. I'll tell you a story. This little thing on the wall over here. What's it called?
Your little collage.
Yeah, right there. My
Yeah.
my fiance had it for years. This is for a whole year. This is the only time I've seen it. The whole year. She had it when she was a kid, back over there in Germany. Okay, so I say Germany. So and there's a little farmhouse in the back. Horses. Okay,
Yeah, I can
I
see that.
seen
Yeah.
that. I seen that, but I was actually in it. Okay, I remember this is when I was under. This was when you know. Um, I remember they took me to a farmhouse, and I remember I was laying there and I was watching. They just had whatever on. It was all scary stuff or whatever about the location there, and there was this. There was. It felt like it was a politician. He was all like, "Why is he here? Why is he in my living room?" And then I remember them want to change me. They would throw me in the back where they would have the seats and everything, and it was a metal table. They would just slam me on it to change me. And I remember, to me, how I felt. No one wasn't talking. It was all talking in your head. They were
Yeah,
like,
telepathically.
"Well, we're here to change you." Now,
Yeah.
those people that were working for him, like outside and everything, they worked extra. They weren't getting enough of the doctor's help at the hospital, so they worked it for extra. And I remember them. I remember outside it was hot, it was warm. I remember, now these days where they pick up the feed and everything, like the wheat and everything, they put it in a little thing. I remember seeing that. I remember seeing the horses in the background, and that's the color of the of the barn. It was red. I seen that. That's the
That's
picture.
really strange.
And I never seen that in my life, only since I've been here with my fiance. And she had this since she was a kid.
Does that? But does that picture represent something that
Yeah.
actually existed? This is
Yes.
what I'm saying. Like, if you've had past lives and things like that, then you could very well be linked to things, because sometimes people become very drawn to things that they don't realize could be from their
Yeah.
past life, which is really weird.
Yeah.
Um,
And there's more in the room. Like when I was over there, I'll show you. Probably send you some pictures later. But probably to on Twitter, so Drew can show you. But there's ones where there's a lake, and then there's something like, because when that Indian passed, it was not, like one of those Native Americans, when they passed, he was laying out on the same one, same shape of her, of the one in the room, and then there was a flying thing, and there was a boat, but it's not a boat in that one, like, but everything, like, there's another one over here on this wall over here, but it
yeah.
shows a little thing where it lays down, so the one can lay down. And I never seen these things ever in my life. So I moved in a year ago with my fiance, and she
Yeah,
tapped them.
I do very much believe that that was either a past life of you,
Yeah,
or that could have been that you were seeing your
fiance.
wife's past life, because you were
Yeah,
saying that you were seeing people's lives while
I,
you were
I, I
there.
was seeing, I was seeing my fiance's family
That's
on
what
the
I'm
other
saying. So
side.
maybe that there's a link to that.
Yeah,
Maybe like some of these past life people that you've
yeah,
seen, the family, are
yes,
from another past life. So it's not her. That family's been her family more than once.
yeah. Oh
You
man,
know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
I remember seeing their family. I think that was like maybe the third one that was awesome. I remember like whoa, seeing God was amazing. You know, it did just his how you say rostro in English. I was in
Say
one in
that again.
Spanish. If there's anyone Spanish that knows what that means, his love or whatever. But this family was so loving. They were ice fishing, you know, and they were like, "Hey, welcome, welcome. You can stay here and eat, you can chill, whatever they say like that." But I was fishing with this guy, but then to me, how I felt, he felt like how I mentioned his mind. In his mind was a fishboat that he always wanted. With it on this fishboat it was a short one, little boat, but it had like a lifesaver on it, saver thingy on it. Well, short story. My fiance, she told what we were looking through pictures, and it showed his tugboat on the picture's seller. Yeah, and it was that him. I don't know. To that
Well,
day,
it's a bit peculiar that you've got like all these pictures and you've got all these things, and then you've gone over there and you're seeing these things actually happening in front of you, but maybe got added things to them. So I really do feel that you were having some past life connections between your fiance and her family and things, as well as your own self. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, I
it is
remember
very interesting.
remember something I was looking up. Remember there was that brain surgery there, and when I looked up, there was like all these knickknacks, and there was this round, old little, round little, what do you call it? Like with lights and everything, um,
Chandelier.
chandeliers. Okay, check this out. Um, my brother in law got married a couple years ago. Okay, and we had went to a place out in the middle of nowhere to have his wedding, I was meant to look up, and I seen that same chandelier right
That,
above my head.
to me, it sounds like they're giving you past life experiences, but they're also giving you experiences of things that you've physically seen in this world as well.
Yeah,
So, in a way, like, you felt like you were being attacked at times, but I think that there would have been energies trying to attack you, trying to get you to
yeah,
stay, trying to make you feel worthless, and then there was those energies trying
yeah,
to like just splurt things at you. But remember when you went here with your family, and
yeah,
remember when you went, like, they were fighting against, like you said, good and bad,
yeah,
fighting. So
exactly.
they were trying to fight with you. One
Yeah,
side wanting you to stay there, and one side saying no, he needs to go back. It's not his time, and he's got things he needs to be doing. So that's very much what it sounds like to me. That they were very much bringing both sides out to you. So you was having your negative experiences, and it was making you want to run. And then you've got the other side trying to show you things to make you remember your life here, because
yeah,
you are supposed to come back. So I do feel
yeah,
that was what was going on.
yes.
They were
And
trying to
I
make
had
you
lots
remember.
to think about. Like after I had that interview with Sherry and everything, not Sherry, I'm sorry, with Drew and everything.
You're having the
I was
interview.
just like, wow. I was like, I knew today I was gonna have an interesting one with you. I knew you were gonna ask me questions. I just had a feeling. I had a feeling that she says, "Hey, I'm gonna ask this guy some questions. I'm gonna see what's up." I knew it.
Yeah, but you know me too well now, Eli. Whenever I've interviewed, I always like to try to get right into it, not get into it to the point making you feel uncomfortable, but to try and help you to understand and try to make other people understand. And so, when would you say you started to realize that you was leaving purgatory? How did you leave purgatory? Like, what happened?
Okay, it all started when they were talking about the trait and everything, like to feed me and everything with the tube and everything, the 3 in there. I remember there was water. There was just, I was leaning on a trash can. I was seeing what they were dressed like, and I told my family about that. They were like, "Wow." They were like, "Wow." Okay, but I was leaning back. They were talking about it, and I remember me floating in the water. I was floating in the wave. I was going already. So I'll tell you more. So all of a sudden, God goes, "Not yet." I heard, "Come here," and then all of a sudden, it was like a little pool. He dropped me on, and he was there, and I was there, and I remember there's always someone there with me, and I remember I had a phone. I got my phone. There was these little connectors going, and people were grabbing them. They were wavelengths. This feels weird, but yeah.
So you had a phone, like when you was about to leave and go back, that they gave you a phone.
I couldn't use it.
You couldn't use it, but they gave you a phone.
Yeah, it was gold.
So that to me was your lifeline, because you knew that your fiance would be calling and calling and calling. That was your lifeline. That was to remind you of her waiting for you on the other, like back here.
Yeah.
So, and all these lines that you're getting, these would have all been like you must have heard about the chains that we have that connect ourselves with our spiritual self. Well, this was the same with the phone by the sounds of it.
Yes.
There was different chains connecting you to different areas because you wasn't physically meant to stay there.
So it's sort of like
have a line to get you back out. That's what it sounds like.
You know how they talk about, like, if you're going out of body experience and there's that little cord that's stuck to you in a sort of way, you hear that story where when you leave your body, something's connected to you,
Yeah, you have you have a life chain. I call it a life chain, and it's normally like a silver or a gold color, and it would be attached to your spirit, because like when I astro project,
right, Drew,
and I travel to other places, because I travel to other realms, okay,
yeah,
when I go there, I physically have a chain that keeps me connected to my body. If that chain was to break, that would be the end of my life.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we have to have that soul chain. Now, if you're there and your phone was that sort of chain for you, then it from the beginning, it was kind of demonstrating that you weren't gonna physically die forever. You know what I mean? You were gonna come back.
Yeah.
It's just that you needed to have those lessons. You needed to be woke up. You needed to see things. You needed to understand. You know what I mean?
Well, at that time, I thought
in water.
Yeah.
What happened in the water when you see God? Like you said, you could hear God, couldn't you? So, like, what happened when you
Okay. Heard? Okay. Hey, what's up, Ghost Chasers? Okay.
Hello.
I'm gonna go each step, so I don't,
Yeah, just do it at your own pace.
Okay.
At your own pace.
So I got out of the water. I was sitting in a chair, right, and there was all this equipment around me, but there was this little thing stuck to my shirt, and I couldn't get up. In front of me, I see this pulpit and a little cross, and then and the friends next to me, they were trying to jimmy. You know those little things where you jimmy the door handle moves. Yeah, they're trying to jimmy it. Yeah, they're trying to open it, and my family's going another way. They're like, "We're gonna fix this." This is your son. He made it, and I was like, "Okay, cool." So actually, I made it 3 times during it, but never was real. So I was like, "Okay, whatever," So then, in reality, my fiance, she peeked around the corner. I peeked around the corner. She seen me, You know, she was in bed. So she had a dream that that I said, "Hey, I made it. Come and get me." But the next day, I made it. Of course, I'm alive. My mom called my fiance. But anyway, so I'm there. This is when I was gone. Okay, she had
Your
a dream
wife
that
had a dream of you making it.
my fiance.
Your fiance. Sorry, I
Yeah,
call her wife because she's almost wife. Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that sounds like to me that you reached out to her from the other
Yeah,
side, like to say,
yeah,
"Don't worry,
yeah.
darling, I'm coming back," sort of thing.
Um, it was that, and then my brother. My brother had a dream that I woke up and I was walking out of the hospital. Both of them had that same dream that night that I had woke up.
But it sounds
And
like you reached out to him then.
yeah, I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't know how. Um,
In
so
the spirit, like a lot, I've heard quite a lot of people that have had these near death experiences, and that, yeah, like where their family have said they've actually physically had that person
mhm.
that's like died but is still fighting to survive. They've actually had experiences and they've had dreams themselves of their loved ones coming back, or their loved ones are going to be okay and stuff. And it has been where they physically were like you was reaching out to them, and like you ask how, yeah, but I don't know how. It's not really any different to when we reach out as spirits to our loved ones. You know what I mean? Like you can still do that. You can still reach out. You can still put intention and emotion and
well,
feeling. What you got to think
I'll
is you've
get
still
back.
got your physical body fighting, so they would probably be feeling things from your body as well. You know, if they were around you.
I don't remember contacting my brother. I remember peeking around that corner. I remember peeking around that corner. And I told my fiance, she was like, "Wow, man!" I remember going like, I mean, to me, it felt like I was there, but I wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, so she saw me peek like this, and then she went to bed and she had a dream that I was calling out for help. But to me, I was stressing because to me in the afterlife, I was stressed because I was going through the red button, trying to press, I couldn't press it. Everybody's running a building because there was a helicopter around the building. It was where she had that dream because I was having that same dream whenever she said that I needed help and I couldn't. I To me, it felt like she was going through what I was going through, spiritually,
But
like
you,
this.
if you're soul connected, obviously you're like, you know, your fiancés.
Yeah.
You've lived together. You know each other. You know each other's personality. So you have
Yes.
got that link.
Yes. I do.
She was your get out of
Yeah.
purgatory card sort of
Yeah.
thing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
to me, it just sounds like that at that time she was you was reaching out to her, because like you're saying, I don't know how that happens, but you've got like the crisis apparitions. It sounds very similar to that. A crisis apparition is when somebody is physically dying, but before they die, the spirit
Yeah.
visits the family have that
Yeah.
experience to know that they've died, even though they don't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it does sound like you was having that sort of experience, but
Oh
not
yeah.
dying,
Oh yeah.
coming back.
Oh yeah.
That's what it
It's
sounds like what happened.
weird. I mean, to be honest, guys, it's not just fun and games. I mean, to be honest, when you're going through all this, you're connecting with your loved ones, and you're doing all this, it's not fun and games. It's not. I mean,
No,
I mean, I didn't know I was going to come back. I didn't know I was going to come back and tell you about. I
I
mean,
can relate with you there. I can even though I had a really nice experience when I went over, I was scared. Of course, I was scared because I didn't want to. I didn't
yeah,
want to die. I didn't want to stay there. Like obviously, I loved it there. It was beautiful. I could have easily stayed, but I knew that I had things here that I needed to get back to. So that did make me scared. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So I thought, no, even though I want to stay, I can't. I've got my kids. I've got my mum. I've got everybody else. I've got,
yeah.
I had so many people I knew I needed to come back to. So I can relate to you when you say that you were scared and worried, like at that time that you weren't going to get back, because I was the same way, even though it wasn't negative for me. So when you was in this water and God spoke to you, and did he
Well,
do it?
I want to
Like,
tell that
did
story.
he do anything to you? Like,
Okay,
did he do
I want to.
anything? Do you feel like he spiritually touched you, or
Yeah, I want to tell that story. Okay, so um, I was laying there. Everything happened. Everything was done. I wanted just to hang my hat. That's it.
yeah,
And I seen a sandal. Like it's not one of those Walmart sandals, do you see? And
an
I
old
seen,
fashioned one?
yeah, yeah. It was one of
Yeah,
those old ones.
yeah.
And I remember seeing his foot, and I remember seeing Sandal, and then I was reaching back. I was like, I'm done. Take me. I am done. And then all of a sudden, it went tight. It just went real tight, and and at the same time, he was playing this tribal music with uh, with with those old time horns. You know, the little horns you play. You know, the old times. You know, back in the Jesus days, they have. You know,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, and
yeah.
it was
Yeah.
so beautiful. It was so beautiful. Like, I mean, the love that man gives you, like, it's more than the love of the woman you love. I mean, it's the more love that your own child. It's love, it's kindness. It's like, and he's all like family, 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 family. But he was telling me in Spanish, familia, familia, and the whole time he was showing my mom in the cloud, and then there's another cloud. My uncle, he was sick. He used to be he got paralyzed. You know, it showed him in the little pee bag and everything else. And my mom, my God said, "Why don't walk away?" Kept on saying, "Don't walk away from me. Don't walk away like she is now. Don't walk away. Don't walk away." And then God was saying, "Get up, get up," like in this authority voice, "Get up, get up." And then the tribal music, just it was so beautiful, Jerry. It was
But what you got to
amazing
think,
love.
right? God is the same. Like, I do believe in God, just a different
Yeah,
me, okay? But
yeah,
God is the savior of all, okay? God would have been very much aware of the trauma and the
mhm,
torment that you went through in that place, okay? So he wouldn't have wanted to just send you straight back, remembering that. He wanted to give you a little piece of heaven. He wanted
yeah,
you to come back with a little bit of hope,
yeah,
sort of thing. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Well,
Because
to be
that would
with
have been a horrible thing to experience, what you went
Yeah,
through. You know
well,
what I
man,
mean?
that was lovely. Honestly, I mean, deep down, I was just like, I really wanted just to go with him, honestly. But then God said, "No, you got family to go back to, not the family
Yeah.
that hated me, but the family that loves me." You know, man, those people that did me wrong, and God showed me what type of person my mom was and my sister. It's vital. It's someone that you don't want to be around, and I mean, like, we're still trying to work out our differences, after what I seen and felt, about her, you know, um, if God showed me if she would get away with murder, she would do it. You know what I mean? That's how bad that person is, and it's awful just to feel the type of people that thought they loved you and that protected you, but deep down they just want, get.
But to me, like, I think that was him showing you, like, because obviously in your past, before you died,
Yeah,
okay, you probably would have took all of the crap off your mum. You wouldn't have seen that going on.
yeah,
Going over there, he showed you that. So that was kind of his wake up call to you to make a new path where you
and,
look after yourself more and you realize that there is more to you than what you think, like
yeah,
that you do deserve to be respected and that your family should treat you right, and things like that. He knows this, obviously he's
yeah,
been aware of that all his life, but you wouldn't have been. When before you passed over, you would have just been like, okay, yeah, they're not nice to me and stuff, but you wouldn't have been aware of the characters they
yeah,
were
yeah,
until you went there. You know,
yeah,
I mean, this was it. I think this is his way of safeguarding you and preparing you so that when you come back, you'll be more like, well, I'm not going to take your crap anymore because I've seen
yeah.
what I've seen. I know what
I
it's like.
seen the worst.
You know what I mean?
I seen little things chasing me that wasn't funny. You know what I mean? Like,
Sister Sherry, could you join Discard Stream 2 and even Mystical, and we just play here after it's recorded? Well, today I have got to be on with pups in a little while, so it ain't going to be able to be yet. But so you,
she
so
lost her.
you, you spoke to God. God told you that you had to come back. So what happened? What happened when you come back then? So obviously you woke up and
Well, I
like,
came
oh my
back.
God, like how did things change for you here? Like, how did you start to realize that you had connection with the spiritual realm? How did you start?
Well,
experiences.
I came back and to that question, Ghost Chasers, real quick. I'm sorry. Yeah, if you got Twitter, contact me. You know,
Yeah.
the more people can hear my message, maybe it might, like, think, okay, well, I've been in that position. Man, that's how it helps people think. You know, um, oh, was that experience towards me? I had a couple of messages on Twitter and saying, hey, your message sounds like what I went through. Like
Yeah, and
that's
I
kind of
think
cool.
that is what you're supposed to do, like, because like you had this. I'm not being funny, but you sat on a stream
No,
one
no,
day
no, 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 no.
to an investigator and you
Yeah,
said, I wish I could experience the other side. He gave you that wish.
yeah,
Maybe not in the most nicest way, but he gave you
yeah.
that wish and you got to experience that. So now you can come back and because you're speaking about it, it's opening other people to be not so
Okay.
scared about talking about it.
When
You know
I
what I mean?
came back,
Because,
like I felt like I was a different person in a good way. I felt like I was a
oh yeah, you will
different
be.
person. And going back to investigate, like interviewing paranormal investigators, like I know how it feels to be a spirit, and I like when I was going to their side, like I remember my saying was, if you could just listen, you can hear me. Like and I remember I to the paranormal investigators I say, just listen to them. That's all. You don't need a ghost box. You don't know what's going through there. You know, and I mean, they will contact your soul. They will. They will contact you, and they will tell you what they feel. Imagine this. Imagine me going through my whole experience and trying to contact you. I mean, that's annoying right there because you're thinking, okay, who's talking to me and who's messing with me? They're in their own. They're stuck in their own reality. They're stuck in their own building that you guys are investigating, and they're like, who's talking to
Oh,
me?
well, we're very much aware of that, like that they're in
Yeah,
their past. Oh, we know that. I
yeah,
know that. I've walked
yeah,
into places that I see physically, and then because of my abilities, I'll go in there and I'll see that place the way it was when they were in it.
yeah.
I see them
It's
as what they were like, you know what I mean? So I do get that. And that does
weird.
happen. Yeah.
It's just that feeling of just like I've been there. It's like I was telling you about of this guy. He died, right? Okay, he was coming back from a birthday party, right? Um, and he drove up, right? He had his kid's birthday party at some restaurant. He got out. He was going inside his house. He fell dead. He got back up again. He relived that part. He went back home, fell dead. Keep on replaying his death over and over
Yeah.
like a record.
Yeah. And
Like,
those sort of like, because you've got a number of different spirits. Okay, you've got the spirits that replay their past lives constantly, their life that they lived. You've got spirits that are lost and they don't, they don't know where they are. Then you've got the spirits that have crossed over but they still visit. You've got so many different sorts of spirits that there's so many different experiences, and I've experienced every single one of them. Okay, but like, for me, I believe that you had a calling. I believed you was called to, which is why you died. You went there because you was meant to go there. You was meant to have these experiences. Horrible as it was, you needed to have these experiences. You
yeah.
needed to see these things to be able to spiritually open to who you truly are. Okay.
I, I
And
will.
your purpose was because you are supposed to educate people. You are supposed to help
Yeah,
others because let's face it, there's loads of people out here that have had near-death experiences and they won't dare talk about it because they think that people think that they're crazy or they're
yeah,
nuts because of what they've
yeah.
seen. And it's not crazy, it's
Yeah.
real.
And
It's
you know
real. It
what?
happens.
They call it residual, right?
Yeah, residual
I know they
haunting. Yeah.
say it's a state. It's a no. It's not real. It's not. I mean, honestly, it's a soul. They're stuck in that position. God put them there for a reason. For what they did something. I mean, that's their hell. I mean, they're there, but they can't. They're punished. Hold on, hold on. Their punishment is they can't talk to nobody. They
I
can't talk to you.
I'm a little bit of a different person on that, right? Because I've
Yeah,
seen children that live in those things, and they haven't done anything wrong.
I don't get that. I don't get that
You know what I
because
mean? So, like, you've got all these innocent children that are
yeah,
reliving what they went through and
yeah,
things like
yeah.
that. So, I don't completely believe that everybody that goes through a residual haunting is living that haunting because they've done something wrong. It's
Yeah.
just a character and energy of their life at that time.
But Sherry, that kid, it's different each death. Their deaths are different. It's just like my
Yeah,
death.
but if
It's gonna be
I've
different.
physically seen and spoke to those children, I've
Wow.
seen what happened to them, and
How
I've
did you?
seen
How
even
did you?
adult people
How
that
did you feel when you talked to them? How did it feel to actually feel the feeling? How did they feel at that time? I couldn't do
well, for
that.
me, like when there's like for children, especially when they're stuck and they can't get over it, it it breaks my heart because
Yeah, it
children
does.
shouldn't have to be in that state. And it's the same. You've got like these people that are murdered. They didn't get asked to be murdered. So you know,
Yeah,
like this is what I'm trying to say to you, Eli. That every everything's different. Even though like you've had your experience and you've had your way, not every residual haunting is because somebody's done wrong.
no,
A
no, no,
residual
no,
haunting can be because
no.
somebody's had
I'm not
something done
saying
to
that.
them,
No,
or they're
no,
lost, or they're
no,
stuck in a time.
no.
You know,
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. It's it's to me, if something bad happens in a location, it's
yes,
because it's not the kid there. It's something bad that's mimicking the kid, and that's the reason why we can't sympathize with some of those spirits, because
yeah,
the evilness is that kid. The kid's already moved on, is in another realm. That evil spirit is the one taking on that residual. You get what I'm saying?
I do,
They
I do, but through somebody that's like for
oh,
me,
okay.
somebody that's communicated with spirit all of my life. I've met children that haven't gone over,
Yeah,
and they're not negative energies. It's just that this is what I'm trying to say. There is so many walks and avenues to this.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
I agree.
and I think the more that you talk about it, the more that you open, and the more people you meet and you help, the more you're going to come to understand it,
I
Eli.
agree.
You know what I mean? Like, because everybody experiences things differently. Like,
Exactly.
I can speak to you and say what I say because I've seen and experienced it all of my life.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And I've been in communication with children, adults, murderers, anybody. I've been in
yeah,
communication with.
yeah,
I know that energies can manipulate. I know that energies can lie. I know they
yeah.
can. You know what I
I
mean? But
was. I
there are
had this.
innocent out there as well.
It was weird. I had this one. Okay, so I was in this room, right, and this guy died. Okay, this guy died, and he went over. Right, he went over to his realm, but then it brought him back into the realm he died in. So I was told that some spirits can attach themselves to people and make them sick because that
Yes, they
anger
can.
of not
Yes,
passing
very
over.
much
Yeah,
so. Yeah, they
yeah.
can. Yeah,
It's
very much
weird.
so.
It's weird. I mean, you can feel them. It's awful. It's
You
weird.
imagine what it's like. You imagine what it's like for me being empathic and being a Claire. I can feel,
Yeah,
see, and hear everything. So
yeah,
sometimes I could walk into a room and like I could have other people standing with me and they won't feel any of that. They won't feel anything. And I'm feeling like my chest's being punched,
yeah,
my breath's going. I mean,
yeah,
all these different things, you know what I mean? It is unbelievable, but we are all spiritual beings, okay? And we
yeah,
have got the capability to be able to feel this. For some of
yeah,
us, sadly, we have to go through really traumatic times to
yeah,
experience that.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
So,
it's imagine this. Imagine imagine a kid dying and they got murdered by the uncle. Let's say, and the uncle went to prison, and then they go back to torture them. I don't know about that. What do you think about that? Do you
this,
think they're being tortured? But
yes,
wow,
they do.
I didn't.
Yep.
Wow.
I've come I've come to places where I've physically seen children spirits that were murdered and sexually assaulted by a certain energy when
Yeah.
living, and
Wow.
he was holding them in his spirit form. He was still
Wow.
holding them, and it's all about the attachment that that energy has to those souls, okay? And the fact that he done that to them, the fear, the pain that they went through at that time, they
Yeah.
feared him, so they're not gonna go against what he says has got to be done. So that's why you'll find a lot of these energies stay behind and become trapped by these energies, because they fear what they experienced from them. Do you know what I mean? So they have a hold
So,
over an energy.
so do you think those kids? I mean, I'm trying to better understand where, like, when someone dies, like at a certain age, God takes those kids at a certain age, because at a certain age, those kids know from right from wrong, right? Like God
Oh
said,
yeah, like
hold on, like God said, He said, like, I mean, let me into your heart, and I'll let you into my kingdom when you leave. But I don't know about that, because
with
I don't
children,
know.
not so much. Like, I'm not saying that every child that dies stays here. They don't.
Well, I know it's the
A
name.
lot of them do go to the other side. They do get
Yeah,
saved. But if you're a child that's gone through a very traumatic time and you've gone through a
are you
very
sure
bad
that's
thing,
the
they
child
may
though?
be very scared about going into the light, because they
Oh
still
yeah, oh,
they
I
can
agree
still
with that.
choose to go into that light. They can
I
choose
agree
to
with that.
take God's hand and go with God, or they're going to step
Yeah,
back. So they're scared.
yeah,
They're
I
in
agree
fear,
with that.
and
Yeah,
that's what's happening.
I agree
You
with
know what
that.
I
But
mean?
what do you think about? How do you feel about passing souls over? Is that possible? I
I
mean,
pass souls over, sweetheart,
okay, I don't know.
on
I
a
don't know
regular
anything about this.
basis.
How
Yeah,
does that
on a,
feel? Okay, who's being interviewed?
it's the most. It is the most beautiful and most uplifting feeling
I,
ever, and the most emotional. It is emotional because when
mm,
they come to you, they come in all forms. Some of them have been abused. Some of
yeah,
them were lost. Some of them have
yeah,
just been walking around for years and years and
yeah.
years and years and haven't been able to get over to the light because they become stuck here.
Wow.
And it's not always necessarily because something bad happened to them. Some of
Mm,
us decide not to go over because we don't want to leave our family, or we don't want to leave our
yeah,
loved ones. We want to stay. And
yeah,
then, but you got to remember, in the end, they end up, everyone ends up dying. And then this
mm,
energy's stuck and it doesn't know how to get back there. So people
yeah.
like us are the ones that go, look, we can give you that light. We can send
There
you
you
over,
go.
and you do
There you
your
go.
prayers. I use a pendulum, and I open the vortex to the spiritual realm, and they go
Yeah,
through.
yeah.
I guide them through, and
Wow.
Aura and Darius, my spirit guides, take them over there.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
So, man.
and I'm
I,
not the only one that does it. Drew does it.
I was just asking you because I'm just like,
You can do
that's
it. Or
how
maybe
I
I'll learn
feel.
you. I'll learn you,
I'm
Eli, because if you
curious.
are starting to open up to it,
Yeah.
you may come into communication with energies that like,
Yeah.
please help me and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and then you may be able to do
Yeah.
you. You'll be able to
Yeah.
do it. You know,
I'm just curious. That's all.
because you
But,
are open. You are
yeah.
definitely open now.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, definitely yeah. Um, but man, you know what the most scary thing? Oh, let's go back to real quick because I know you're kind of short on time. I don't know. So I remember when waking up. I remember I was under delirium at that time, and I remember I was watching TV and like well, I remember I was watching, and all of a sudden, because there's always nurses walking around, no one's walking around there. No one's walking around, and all of a sudden, the electricity went out. You can feel it when the electricity goes out, TV goes out, and
Yeah.
then it was really quiet. And then I heard, to me, I feel like I'm alone. I was like, "Hello, hello." And I was like, because I had that little thing in my throat already where I could talk. It was a plastic thing what they put right there. And then I remember a little girl saying, "Hey, I'm here." And then I turn around, this guy, it's like a little snake, nasty looking thing, and like I know you can see me. And I was like, whoa, that creeped me out. I was like, okay.
Yeah. So was that? So that was your first experience of actually physically seeing something in
Yeah,
in this realm.
yes,
Yeah.
but
So
I don't know if it was
that's when you
delirium.
awakening and your spirituality opening.
Yes, I don't know if it was delirium. I don't know, but yeah.
But you've had other experiences since then. You've seen things you can't explain.
Well, yeah, like the other night, like in the morning, our doorknob was wiggling, and everybody was in bed. No one wakes up at 9 o'clock in the morning here, and my fiance was off their day, and it was just like it was going like that, and I went to go get it real quick, like, and there was nobody.
See, because you've had this experience and because you've come back, like you're now open to them trying to communicate with you because you communicated with them there and they're very aware of that. Like the spirits here are very much aware of that, the fact that you did pass over and you come back
Yeah.
and that you're open now. So all this door handle rattling, that could just
Yeah.
be them getting your attention. They're trying to
Probably.
reach out to you. They're trying to
Probably.
talk to you.
Yeah.
They're trying to communicate with you because you are
Yeah.
spiritually open now. Sherry,
Yeah.
I have to get going. I love you. Okay, Curtis, thank you for coming
Jeez.
in. Lots of love.
Hit me up, man.
Yeah, I know that a few people said that they'd followed you on Twitter.
Okay. I'll look in a minute. I've seen a
Yeah,
lot of
so
them.
that is what it is. Like, I think because you've been over there, you've had this experience, you've come back and you've started opening. Now you're having the experiences that I've had all of my life. You've got spirits now trying to communicate with you because they know that you know what it's like and that you could probably be able to help them.
Yeah.
And things, because I do believe that you've got a calling. I believe that you're supposed to guide and teach others about, near death experiences, about what it's like from them realms. But I do also believe that you're supposed to do something for the spirits. You are supposed to help the spirits as well. I do believe that you're supposed to do that.
It's just weird how, like, I don't know. I mean, well, when I was a small kid, like, my dad was a Pentecostal pastor. Like I told you before, like, shortly I told you, I said my dad always taught us hell and heaven. He never taught us no in between.
No, but they don't. The church that I used to go to, because my nan was Christian, the church that I went to, it's always just heaven and hell. There was no
Yeah.
purgatory, there wasn't anything. But I had always seen things a different way. And I believe this is what's happened to you as well. You was meant to go there so that they could show you that the faith that you followed, I'm not saying that it's wrong for you to follow that faith, but the
Yeah.
faith's not quite how you thought it was. That there is more to it than what you've been taught. And they're trying to show you this.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? That there's more to this world.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Eli,
you could help with maybe the spirits that's really struggling with judgment. This is what I'm saying, helping spirits. That's what I'm saying through, like helping them. Because I do a lot of talking, because some of the spirits that come to me before I cross them over, they need to talk out what they're going through. They need to try and understand why they're feeling like that. And I think that you would be a really good person to do that, to help them to understand and go, it's okay. Like, you don't need to be scared. I've felt the love of God. I've heard God speak to me. I know what he feels like. You can give them that reassurance and that help and that guidance to help them to do that. You know what I mean? Like, even if you don't want to learn to cross them, you could be somebody that speaks to them, helps them, then go, okay, you could go over and see Drew, or you can go and see Sherry. They'll be able to cross you over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can. There's a big reason to why he done this to you. There is a big reason.
Exactly. I agree with you. I agree. Totally.
It's been an interesting show, though, guys. Is there anything you guys want to say in the chat?
Yeah.
You enjoyed it? We will have him back again, because I'm sure the more that he goes on and the more that he gets used to, there'll be more and more that he'll start to understand and stuff. Like Sister Drew said earlier, I think this experience that you went through is going to take a couple of years for you to get your head around. It's going to take a lot of stifling and listening and understanding it to be able to really get the picture. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree on that one.
Is there anyone that says anything? No, there isn't. Not yet, anyway.
But yeah, it was. I mean, with going to my health, like, I remember, like, with being in bed for that month, man, I couldn't even get my butt up to the chair. Like, that's how bad it was. My right leg was weak, and I couldn't even lift my pillow out of my head. It was just weird, man. It was just.
And like your purgatory, what you experienced, like, it was partly the experiences from them, But like what you've got to remember is when we die, like everyone says, we've got our own heaven and hell that we see within our mind. Okay, so even though you was there, you had these experiences, they were doing certain things. I do believe that you carried some of your fears and things that trouble you over there, which is what played out in front of you, because you were supposed to face those things that you don't like to be able to go forward. So you know, like I do believe that that's what's happened as well. I do believe that you took some of the fears and the things that you don't like in this world with you, and you had to face them in that world.
Well, it's kind of weird.
Okay, well, I understand now, and I'm not going to fear it the same way.
When it comes with fear, like it was more. What is that word? It was more like. To me, it felt like it was fear, but I knew they couldn't hurt me.
You felt uneasy. You feel uneasy about certain things.
Yeah. That's how I felt.
I believe that they think they know that they would know this, okay? And they're like, right, okay, well, he's going to carry that and that and that and that with him when he dies, and he's going to face that face on, because then when you come back, you're going to be like, well, I get it now. And I've just faced the worst thing in the world. There is nothing more scary than what I've just experienced. That was the whole point of it. And it's to spiritually open you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Big time. It really has. Now it's just like, you know, if something stressful happens, it's just like, I just put that off
now. You've just got to be true to yourself, Eli, and you know, be you, and know that you were chosen for a reason, and you are supposed to reach out to human and spirit.
Yeah.
Fact.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know I mean? So I love chatting with Eli about his experiences. Yeah, it is unique and it is very interesting. And if there is anybody else that's had a similar experience to Eli, or maybe not even the same as Eli, maybe you've had a pleasant experience, talk about it. Come and talk to us about it. Or get hold of Eli. You know, like, we're more than happy to have you come up on panels and talk to us about this. This is what we work with. You know what I mean? So don't hold it.
There's certain things that I'd rather not talk about on live, but like, you know, it's kind of like weird, you know.
Well, some things are personal, aren't they? And some things that there would have been things that they showed you over there that you're not supposed to share with everybody. That was just for your eyes only. You know what I mean? Like I have experiences and have things I see that I can't share with everyone. It's not meant to be
weird, you know.
Yeah, it's just that way.
It's not part of this earth. It's not part of this world that y'all should know yet. That's what I'm trying to say. Not yet.
Yeah, but you will find that, and that's what I'm saying. The more you talk to people and the more you meet other people, you will start to understand it. The more you talk about it, the more it'll become familiar to you, and you'll be like, hang on, I'm starting to get what's going on here.
I was telling you one time, I was with my mom one time, and like I walked out of the bathroom, you know, and I remember this is real. I'm not bullshitting, you know, but I remember it was 3:00 in the morning. I went to the bathroom and I seen like a scarecrow hand going like that in the living room, and I'm like, I'm at the bed. If you want to contact me, look, I'm going to bed. My sleep is more important than getting scared of you.
Yeah, and that's what I think that, you know, I do think that is what part of it was, that they wanted you to face those things that maybe you felt uneasy about and not comfortable with. They want you to face that because that's how you'll truly open your spiritual self. And I believe that's what they've done, you know.
Yeah, a lot. Well, I know someone was telling me that there was always something behind me. Like, and I mean, it kind of freaked me out because I'm just like, that used to be me. I was like, what the hell? Like, I mean, because they say that a part of you follows you back. I'm just like, why? Like, like, it just feels like I'm a body snatcher or something like that. That I stole this guy's, you know, personality or body or something. So
yeah, but that, you know, like sometimes you can carry fragrances of your past lives with you.
Oh wow!
And it can be like an energy.
I heard about that.
That can happen.
I heard about that in the movies.
It is very rare for that to happen, but it does. You know, like more than likely, the energies that are following you are energies that are significant to you. They're watchers, they're protectors, they're other things. You know what I mean? You're going to need that, especially going into that dark place. You're going to need people walking behind you and keeping you safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you're opening as well now, so
I am.
I don't feel anything bad around you.
Yeah.
I do feel a very loving and protective energy around you.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
Like what? What does it feel like? I mean, like
it's a very strong energy. It's a very, very strong positive energy, but it's very protective, very loving. I get,
okay.
and I do feel like it's watched you all of your life. You're just not aware of it.
Oh wow.
So I do believe that your guardian angel is with you,
Yeah.
protecting you,
Yeah.
and that was who was protecting you in that realm. Even though you had these horrible experiences,
Mhm.
he
Yeah.
he was there.
Yeah. That's
He
true.
was who helped you to get out.
Yeah.
You
I
know what I
can't
mean?
get your
So
butt up. Yeah. But I appreciate you having me, and
I've
it's
really enjoyed
interesting
having you
talking.
coming up. You will have to come up again, Eli. Even if it's
Yeah, for
not talking
sure.
about it this time, we could just have a normal chat. We don't have to get
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
bother your head about it. You
Yeah.
know, unless
Oh
you
yeah.
want to.
Oh yeah.
I would more
Oh
than
yeah.
happily sit here every single week talk to you about it, but
Well,
it
for
can get
real.
too
Like I
much
mean,
for you.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
sometimes just come up for a normal panel and talk about paranormal and stuff. You
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe just doing a normal show with me, and that might trigger you off about something else, and you'll be like, "Hang on a minute,
Oh yeah.
I'm
That's
understanding
what I
something
mean.
else now. Something else is coming through." But I am going to have to get off of here,
Yeah.
guys.
Same here.
I've got a live with pups,
Okay.
and
Cool. Gotcha.
it's meant to be at 11, and it's already
Okay.
11. So
Okay. Cool.
I
Thanks
really
for having me.
appreciate you coming up, Eli,
Oh, you
and
too. All
thank
right.
you for
Thank you.
sharing with me. And
Thanks.
guys, thank you for coming in and supporting me and Eli. Thank you for the show.
For
We love
believing in
you
my
all very
journey.
much. Remember to stay real and stay true and stay spooky. And I will see you on my next show.
Welcome.
Lots of love, light, and blessings, guys.
I guess.
Remember that I'm on that pups now. So that'd be either on his channel or it's on mine. I don't know which way it's going or whatever, but either way, look for my channel or Pup's channel because we are supposed to be on there. So we'll be on shortly. Lots of love, light, and blessings. And I'll talk to you all very, very soon. Just going to play the intro out. Love, light, blessings. Thank you for watching, guys. Love you all. Blessed be. And a merry parting.